hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
I keep that energy, man. That's 24, man. That's what. Oh,
we got to start out on a somber note, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I just found out probably like this week. I just found out that my my first chief that I ever had in the Navy passed away 2 years ago, man. 2 years ago. Yeah, and I didn't even know. So he had been reaching out to me. He always reached out to me. It started out with like music. So he used to listen to my music and stuff like that. So he always kept in contact with me because he believed in that. And he changed his name on Facebook. So it's like a weird name. And I can't remember the name. He went by a nickname on Facebook. And I went to another ship the other day, and somebody from the ship that we were on together told me, "Hey, do you know John McIntyre passed?" That was his name, John McIntyre. I said, "No, I didn't know. I didn't know he passed away." He was like, "Yeah, he passed away like last year. I got a copy of the obituary if you want a copy of the obituary." And I'm like, damn, so it really was him. So then he sent me the obituary. I might have got it when I was talking to somebody like my godmom or somebody. I think I was talking to somebody on the phone. So I just skimmed through it. And then I sent it to my second class that was in my division when I first got there that knows him as well. But I called him first. I'm like, "Yo, did you know?" I called him Chief Mac. He wound up making warrant. He was a warrant officer and stuff like that. I think he was actually still in the Navy when he passed. He was still active. And he looked at the obituary, so I'm thinking he passed a year ago. He looked at the obituary. He was like, in accordance with this obituary, it was 2 years ago. I was like, damn, man. So I want to start off by saying, rest in peace to my first chief that I ever had, who I called Chief Mac, but he was an officer and everything like that. So I'm going to call him John McIntyre for the sake of this. And this episode is dedicated to John McIntyre. Thank you so much for ushering me into this Navy and setting me on the right path. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, that's pretty good. You bring that up and you say something about it, man, because sometimes we don't understand how, the influence that leadership has, right? Especially talking about the chiefs. You know what I mean? They really, truly is a mother and a father figure for us, man. When we first come in at 18 years old, and to understand that bond that you have with somebody, especially if you got somebody who you look up to and you're like, man, this is crazy on how, because you don't have your mom and dad there no more, man. You go on deployment 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. And who you talking to every day is that freaking chief. He the one keeping you in line. He the one keeping you in straight. You still a teenager. You know what I mean? You still, 18, 19 years old, man. So, and you guys stayed in touch. Like my first chief, man, I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he passed away. I don't know anything, man. Last time I talked to him was like 5 years ago, man. I knew he was in San Diego. He worked somewhere, but now, no contact. And like you said, man, people, when you're on Facebook and social media, man, you have crazy names. You don't even know, man. So,
yeah, man, he fought for us when it was warranted. Some of y'all want y'all chiefs to fight for y'all when it's not warranted, man. Nah, you felt that spot check, man. You felt it, man. You can't get you out of that. You know what I mean? You should have turned the rip shit? You should have turned the part in, man. You should have got it done. You should have emailed that chief about that spot check, man. You know what I'm saying? He should have reached out. You know what I mean? But he fought for me. He fought for us when it was warranted, not on the bullshit. He fought for us when it was warranted. So I definitely appreciate him. And then I got lucky enough to have another amazing chief right after. I was lucky. I really think I was lucky. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has that. Not everybody's story is that way. And I try my best to emulate those guys in the best ways that I can. You know what I'm saying? So once again, man, dedicate this episode to John McIntyre. Rest well. All right, let's get right into it, man. I got a bone to pick. I wish Tish was here. You know what I'm saying? But I listen back to the pods. So I hear what I say. So right after we record the pod, I'm listening back to editing. I heard myself say chat GPS. 3 times straight. You know what I mean? I heard myself say chat GPS 3 times straight. I had a problem with that. You know what I mean? So, I normally take ownership for the most part. Like, it's almost bad. Like, people sometimes tell me like, hey, you need to stop taking so much ownership. Like, that's really how bad it is sometimes. People be like, yo, why do you follow the source so much? See? So, but I can't, people that listen to the pod probably don't think so because they probably think I blame you for everything.
Yeah.
And can't lie, man.
Yeah, you do. You
can't lie, man. I'm about to blame y'all for this chat GPS shit, man. Cause like, it's chat GPT, right? It's chat GPT.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard myself say chat GPS, I was like, damn, I fucked that up. You know what I'm saying? But I knew that I was going to say it a couple more times. I was like, all right, next time I say it, I'll probably say chat GPT.
Correct yourself. Yeah.
Then I was like, and it's chat GPS. And then I said it again. I was like, yeah, chat GPS. I'm like, now I fucked that up 3 times straight, right on the listen back, man. And that's what I need y'all for, Damon, man. It make me think y'all not listening to me when I'm talking, man. You know what I'm saying?
So let me tell you this, man. I do listen, right? But a lot of times, bro, I'm trying to get these thoughts together too. You know what I mean?
You're supposed to listen. Bro. You're supposed to listen to listen.
I do be listening. I listen.
To say
you know
it.
What I'm saying?
To say it.
S and a T. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I fucked that up, man.
Yeah, man. I got you, man. I'm gonna get it together, man. Because the day I was in talking to one of my guys, man, and we just chit chatting about the pod and chit chatting about some stuff. He said, man, Damo always on you, bro. You're right, man. I said, you are right. He is on me, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, I hope they know I love you and I don't want no smoke, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope they know that.
Nothing but love,
I don't want no smoke, man. If we was doing a face-to-face pod, y'all,
Coming soon.
I'll be shutting up, man. On a face-to-face pod, I'll be shutting up. Go back to those face-to-face pod days. See how quiet I was in
we had some fun on the presence of Dave, though.
You know what I'm saying? I did my first Saturday morning room inspection, man. So I went to a room, I did a barracks inspection and it failed. The barracks inspection failed. And somebody told me they juiced me up, man. To the listeners, look, y'all, I'm sorry, but I know we got some junior seller listeners and stuff like that. They juiced me up, y'all. Somebody told me, they was like, hey, this dude here, he was a hell of a RA. He fucking inspected people barracks rooms on Saturdays if they fucked up. So I'm like, I think I should do that. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like a good idea. Let them know. Let them take me serious on the home front. You know what I mean? Like, get it right.
Oh,
so I scheduled my first Saturday. I'm going to tell y'all straight. I will never do another Saturday morning room inspection again. Unless I have to.
Hold on. I got a question. So this Saturday thing was purely volunteer.
What you mean by that?
Did you have to volunteer to do it on Saturday, or you guys do it on Saturdays? Is that a norm, or you volunteered to do it on Saturday?
It could be done. So it was a re-inspect because it was a re-inspect because the room fell. So the room fell when I went and did the inspection. Any other day, I mean, you gotta leave your ship to go do the room inspections anyway, right? So, and then they don't do them at lunch. So you're doing them between 9 and 11 and then 12 and 14 or something like that, or 13 and 14, whatever time you could get in. So it's a so somebody told me, they was like, hey, this RA, his rooms never really fell because he started doing the re-inspects on Saturdays and people ain't, you cutting into their time now. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do one on a Saturday. Man, I wanted to do something at that time. Almost forgot about it. Like, and I felt so bad. I went to the dude's room and he had it clean though. He did have it clean and he was standing by.
Yeah.
Because I scheduled some room inspections before as an RA and dudes I think they just went by the wayside. Like, cause I put on a sheet. Hey, I probably fucked up, Damon. I put on a sheet, call me to schedule your room inspection. They probably was like,
no.
They probably was like, okay, all right, we gonna call him. We'll call you all right. We'll call you all right. So I'm like, I ain't gonna do that this time. I'm gonna make it legit. So only one room fell cause it was super, like really bad. So I hit the dude up. And then on Saturday morning, he had everything ready for me. I just went into his room, real quick, kind of gave him the conversation like, hey man, let's at least have this. Now his room was atrocious, man. When I went through the first time, so he hooked it up. He made it good. And again, it's not one of them things where you really want to be too much of an inconvenience to somebody because people live in these barracks rooms. But it's also a little bit of decorum that you need to have, knowing people inspect your rooms. You know,
Yeah.
If I could choose as an RA what duties I would have, inspecting rooms probably wouldn't be one of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Or the RA watch, or RA being there to assist people when they need help, or mediating people when they need anything. If I was to choose, the only duty I would have as an RA is to live in the barracks.
Shit. That's everybody, right? Shit.
Hey, what you do? Yeah, I just live here, man. I stand watch. I don't mediate. I was like, nah. Actually, just this week that just passed, I drove a seller to the building so they could get a new key. Talked to him for a little bit. Cole, that was good, man. I liked it. So I'm just joking about some of that, y'all.
Yeah, man. The RAs also, man. So one of my guys, man, like he wanted to, like I'm going on travel, man. He wanted to take my travel. He said, hey, man, I'll take your travel, but let me talk to another RA and see if you want to take my, inspections or something, right? Yeah, man. They said no to him, bro. They said, nah, we can't do that for you, man.
For real?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
So he couldn't do it?
He couldn't do it, bro.
He had to stay to do RA stuff?
Yep, he got to stay and do RA. It's for next week because I'm traveling next week. So, yeah. And I'm taking my travel kit, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to see how it works.
You ready? You ready to pod?
I'm going to say how it works, man. I'm seeing how to do it, man.
My RA group ain't bad, man. They look out for each other. It ain't been nothing. Like, dudes take each other to the exchange and everything. I heard some RAs like barbecue and do all types of stuff, like do cookouts and everything for the sailors, man.
That's good stuff, man.
That sounds good. I don't know. You know me, man. I'm collecting the money or handing out buns, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
You know about that, man. I'm flipping them burgers, man. I'm flipping them burgers out there, man.
Yeah, man. So if the listeners don't remember, I had a feedback report that was 5 years old. Remember that? I'll tell the story about the feedback report that was 5 years old.
Yeah.
They got back in contact with me, bro. They got back. So I emailed, I went through like a chain of different people to email. So I finally got the right dude. After I hit the dude up, our land went down, right? So the land come back up. I'm catching up on emails and I don't see an email from dude. You know what I'm saying? Dude, he hit me up like, hey, can you send me the tech manual? Can you send me this? Can you send me that? I sent them everything he asked for. You know what I mean? I figure it's a 5-year-old feedback report. So they probably been working this thing for the last 5 years, and all of the last little pieces they need to connect the dots was these tech manuals for me, right? Sent it to him. Got it. Sent it to him. So then land goes down, land comes back up. I shoot him an email, and like I read the laws of power and all that stuff, right? So I maneuver a certain way, right? So I email, I'm like, hey man, my land went down, just came back up. I'm just checking to see if maybe you sent the response back from the email I sent, and it just went off the radar. Something happened because the land wasn't up. This is what he said to me. He was like, I got everything, Senior. Be patient.
Bro,
he said, be patient, bro.
He said, be patient.
Yeah.
I've been like, hey, I don't know if you saw that date on that feedback report. You said, be patient, babe.
It's a 5-year-old feedback report. And I emailed your ass 3 months ago, man. I don't know how much more patient I could be. You know what I mean?
Be patient, bro.
He said, be patient, bro. He said,
that's
be
crazy.
patient.
Out of all things you can say, be patient is not one of them, bro. Be patient.
He really said that shit.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
Question. What's your most embarrassing moment? What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you in front of a junior seller?
So what happened? Embarrassing thing. I tell you one of the most, I don't know if it's like necessarily a junior sailor thing, man, but I once got brung back to the ship in handcuffs.
As a chief?
Not as a chief, though. But I think that was one of my boats. You said as a chief. Okay.
As a chief, what was one of the most embarrassing things that ever happened to you in front of a junior seller?
Oh, man. You go first, man. Then I'm going to come back.
Easy. Day. I'm in the head, right? In the morning. So, I don't know how to really word this, but I was taking the shit. You know what I mean? Like that's just, that's just what it is, right? It's number 2. You know what I mean? And it was a bad one, bro. We might have talked about this on a pod. was a bad one, bro. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's something I ate last night. I don't know what happened. This is bad shit. I was in there for a minute, right? And I think it cut into cleaning stations time, right? Still in there. We had an FSA at the time, right? Young lady FSA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm thinking she might have been cleaning the lady's head. You know what I mean? Nah, she was standing outside of our head. She was standing outside of our head waiting for the motherfucker that was in there for the last 20 minutes, taking this epic number 2. You know what I mean? So I step out and I just see her right there, you know? She just right there waiting for the bus. It stink, bro. It's like bad, bro. It's funky. It's messed up, man. It's messed up. Sorry to the listeners. I'm sorry. We talk about shit in the first 15 minutes, right? But it's bad, bro. And I'm normally very like, I went down at the time I went down because I felt like it was going to be private by the time it aired out. Like people I knew what was coming by it's coming by the way your stomach feels. So I knew what was coming, but it ain't work out. Right. So she right there, bro. I see her. I wash my hands and I scurry away, bro. Cause it's like, I'm ashamed and embarrassed. You know what I mean? And I think I said sorry to her. You know what I did after that, man? I want to talk to our LPO, man.
You want to know that she say something? I'm just trying to get some evidence, bro.
I wanted to do damage control, man. So I said, hey, man,
hey, look, say something, bro.
I said, I'm like, yo, look, I feel real bad about this, man. I was like, I really fucked that bathroom up, man. She was out there. And it wasn't the FSA LPO. It was her parent division LPO, man. Her actual mentor LPO. We know him, too. He could vouch for this story. And I went up to him. I'm like, hey, man, look, man, I'm sorry. Like, this happened. She knows it happened and she know it was me, man. And I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? He like, yo, see, it was a chief at the time. He's like, hey, don't worry about it, chief. Don't worry. I was so ashamed of myself. It was so bad, bro. It was so bad, man. That's probably the most embarrassing thing happened. I honestly think, like, cause I was like close to being like on a level of like mentor to her.
Yeah.
After that, she ain't fuck with me after that, bro.
Man, you done blown. You made me go up in here. You know I'm gonna come here clean, bro.
She ain't messing with me after that. I think she probably looked at me different, like all the way, man. What about you?
I don't know if it's the most embarrassing thing, man, but I had
it got to be the most though. The most one though.
Yeah.
The number one on the list.
Number one. So I was on the bike, man. This happened on the ship, man. I'm on the bike. I'm trying to win, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up early. It's like 4 a.m. or whatever, man. So I'm up. I'm in the they got a little fan room they had the bikes in. But I used to do this thing where I wanted to turn the bike so I couldn't see nobody. Right? I didn't want to see nobody come in the door. But the door was open, so the fan room wasn't locked down and that you can just open it, come on in, right? So it was 2 bikes in there. One turned the other way, one turned, but I don't care what's behind me because I'm motivated, I'm pumped up, I'm ready to go, right? And man, freaking, so I'm up in there going, bro, going. And you know how you in that zone. So man, I just freaking my guy came on, man. Fucking, what his name? Hold up. Kevin Gates.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kevin Gates, he came in my ear, bro. I'm freaking rapping some Kevin Gates, man, in there. And then I finally looked to the side a little bit and I noticed somebody on the other bike.
Oh shit.
Junior Sailor on the other bike. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm embarrassed. So, they probably just came in here.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I look back, they had been on them like 15 minutes.
Damn.
You would know they was in there. So they done heard me rap, not only Kevin Gates, but probably 3-4 songs before Kevin Gates.
Yeah. And you were saying all the words? You saying you were saying all the words?
Bro, I was saying everything in there, bro. Everything in there, right? So I got off the bike and dude, I apologized though. I said, hey, I didn't know you was in here. I apologized about, rapping and stuff like
why
that.
You apologize?
Because I was apologizing because I felt bad. One, I was just loud and, I'm just loud, right? And whatever. That's kind of what I was turned up. That's kind of what I was apologizing for, but I was probably saying some other shit too. You know what I mean? So I was just apologizing to apologize, man. But it was all good though. They was pretty cool about it, but I'm sure they went back and told, man, you should have heard fucking seen you up in there, man. But
going crazy.
It's all love, man. Ain't nobody come back and say nothing to me. So I'm, thank you.
So that story there make me think that you would tell the people at the food truck that your first name was Senior if you order food in front of some junior sellers?
No, I'm not that dude.
Oh, I was just wondering, like, if you in that food truck, they like, what's your name? And you like, oh man, I don't want to say my first name in front of these young sellers. So,
oh no, I'm David.
My name's Senior Leggings.
Nah,
when they had you that burrito, when they had you,
I'm David, bro.
They had you that breakfast burrito, like, hey, Senior Leggings. Like, yeah, thanks,
hey man, somebody called it. Somebody at the food truck, man, they say Senior Leggings or a senior whoever, or they use their name, bro. I might even look at them funny. I might, like, if I know you, I'm finna crack a joke on you. If I know you gonna get a joke, right? If I don't know you, might get a long stare. Like, he's serious right now? Look.
Yeah, he can't do that, man.
Nah, bro, I ain't.
I got, like, have you seen chokers, like the choker chains, like, on sellers? Cause, man, I feel like they're at an all-time high, man. Either sellers are finding, like, smaller chains that go around their neck and are, like, super visible. Or they finding looser collars on T-shirts to where you can see the chains no matter what. It's getting so bad. It's almost as if it's, like, not a regulation against that.
Well, I tell you what, man, I have not been on, seeing a lot of them with the little choker chains on.
Oh,
but in civilian clothes, I have, though. You know what I mean? Like them walking around in civilian, like I go somewhere and I see, the younger generation got their little small ass chains on or whatever, man. Like, yeah, like that shit, like, fucking a couple neck rolls, man. That shit might motherfucking break or some shit, man.
Yeah, that ain't bad. I see choker chains galore. I'm always telling somebody like, hey, man, you got to take your chain. And it's bad. Like people don't want to take their chains off. So I'm always telling somebody like, yo, you got to take your chain off. Like, hey, you got to pull your t-shirt up. You know what I mean? Like your t-shirt should be. It's bad, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So I mean, but it is what it is, man. You guys got to make sure you guys got that shit tucked in, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tuck that shit in. Or
ain't
don't wear it at all.
Yeah. Hey, so if y'all don't know, if you listen to Tisha late, you know what I'm saying? So right now we just trying to navigate. Tisha had a lot of topics in here. So we try to like skip through some of her topics, you know what I mean? So we try to navigate y'all. So forgive us if we sound choppy right now. I don't know how we sound.
And then on the flip, let's flip that a little bit. You guys ain't surprised either, right? Tisha, you guys surprised. You surprised at all. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up.
Tisha, she gonna jump in, man. Restricted areas at Liberty ports.
Ooh.
When you were a young seller, Damon, did you ever go to a restricted area?
No. I didn't mess around.
For real? You ain't never go somewhere where they said like stay away from it all?
No. Didn't do it, bro. Didn't do it. Didn't mess around with it.
So I'm gonna tell y'all young sellers. I'm gonna let y'all young sellers know that might, scurry your way into a restricted area. You might go to the strip club that they say stay away from. And when you get in there, you might just happen to see a group of chiefs. Right? I'm gonna let you know this, man. I'm gonna let you know this, man. Those chiefs, they are not there because they're violating good order and discipline. Those chiefs are there to ensure you don't violate good order and discipline.
That's it, bro. Man. That's it. No big deal. I mean, don't worry about it. But let me tell you this, man. We don't want to see you on Monday morning in front of the mess, right? So we're going to go to these spots before you get there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to check them out, make sure everything's good to go and keep you out of there, man. Like might even give you a warning. You know what I'm saying? Don't come back. Warning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see that head nod, you get that head nod. You see that head nod. You know
Get up out of here, man. Get up out of here, man.
Oh, hey, what's up, C?
Yeah. But let me tell you who the worst is when it comes to these restricted and when it comes to like just being on the streets, going anywhere, man. It's them damn, what they call them, man? The ones go after the little thing on their arms, man. What they call them? The little,
Shore Patrol?
Shore Patrol, man. Shore Patrol, y'all out of control, bro.
They just keeping everybody safe.
Man, Shore Patrol got to try to check people looking at them all funny and shit. Come on, Shore Patrol, man. You guys just mad because you guys ain't got liberty that night, man. I mean, don't get all crazy because you guys ain't got liberty, man.
Yeah, shit. Shore Patrol be hating, man.
Yeah,
Shore Patrol be hating.
Big time, man. Big time.
I just want a shawarma, baby. Like, leave me alone, man. I'm going to get my shawarma, then I'm getting back on the Liberty bus, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause the shawarma spot be like right across from the Liberty bus at that one spot. I forgot that one spot, but the shawarma spot right there, I get it. It's 11:42. They gonna finish my shawarma in 3 minutes and I'm hopping on this fucking Liberty bus. As long as I get on that bus before 12, I didn't violate my liberty. I know how it goes. Let me get my fucking shawarma. Shore Patrol be right across the street staring at you, man.
Hey, bro, especially what was it? The place we used to go, Sasebo. You know, motherfucking Sasebo. They got a little sailing town out there, whatever, man. I'm sure, and they used to like. Now I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing now, but I know in the COVID stuff, you know, you had to be back at a certain time or whatever, man.
Yeah,
like everybody. Boy, them jokers being there ready to pounce in them spots, boy. When they know it's by the midnight, boy, they ready to come midnight, clear it out.
Yeah, y'all don't even look cool. Shore Patrol don't even like make it look cool or nothing. Like if I was Shore Patrol, I'd look cool, man.
Man.
You know, have a place to sit, chill. You know, somebody come past me a little bit, I'd be like, hey, man, you know, you got like 20 minutes left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
You know, but I would like, y'all be looking
2-0 here with the
y'all be in the corner looking crazy. Like, get out of here, man.
Let's get into this do better, man. I got this do better, man.
Let's go, baby. I don't have a do better.
I have 1.5 do betters, right?
Let's get it.
So my first do better is for these taskers, man, which I have no problem with taskers. So let me say that real quick. I have no problem with taskers, right? But this is what I do got a problem with. Taskers on Monday. Say and this is the example I'm using. Say your captain or your commander come and say, hey, tell you on Monday that you have a tasker that's due by Friday. I'm like, oh, okay. No, I got a little time to look at this. I'm good. And then all of a sudden, your divo or your department head or whoever else come back and say, hey, we need to get this done by close of business today.
Talk about it. Now we getting one.
Problem with that, man. Captain said Friday, man. Like, why I got to have this done by close of business today? I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Why? But I'm going to tell you this. I love your energy. I love your energy I love your get it done attitude. Right? But guess what? You ain't the one doing this damn tasker though, is it? You know what I mean? How about that? How about if you had that, you want that, you know, get it done attitude, man, you do that tasker, man. Like you waiting on me to do that tasker. You tell me about 1600. I don't know. I got a little bit of a problem with that, man. Like, you know, let's talk about it first. Let's talk about that Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? That get it done by Wednesday type shit, right? But that's fucking Monday? She just told us 5 minutes ago. Shit. All right, my second one, man. My second one is the government credit card, man. And I'm bringing this up, man, because I use the government credit card a lot because I travel a lot, right? And the big thing now is, you know, make sure you got that shit done, your voucher done by 5 days, which got it. You know what I mean? You trying to make sure I get what I need back and the card is paid and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if I had that voucher done in 5 days, why is it taking 2-3 weeks for you to do your shit? Why are you emailing me on day 6, but it take you 2 to 3 weeks or a month to get your shit done? Right? So people in charge of these government credit cards and these vouchers and shit, you know, if where I work at, it's a civilian side of it, get your shit done, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't be hacking. And I'm saying this because they hit me up. I'm talking about like on day 6, telling me I'm jacked up, emailing the freaking DLC, not DLCPO, but the SEL, hitting up the freaking captain, everybody on the email, and it's day 6 or 7. Come on, man.
So what day you think they should hit you up?
Shit, don't hit me up here. I'm gonna get that shit done. But no, man, I don't know. But shit. But what I'm getting at is if you hit me up, get your shit done too. That's what I'm really getting at. That's what I'm really getting at, bro.
I think I'm gonna defend them, Damon. I think
go ahead and defend them. So you telling me before you defend them, you telling me they can hit me up on day 6 and then it's gonna take them a month to do their shit. Then go ahead, man. Go ahead and defend them.
So that's what I'm gonna say. Right. This just what I'm thinking. How many people you think work in government travel cards and travel claims?
I don't know.
All right, that's a good answer. That's a good answer for a rebellious, for somebody being rebellious, for somebody being rebellious.
Hey, look,
right?
in my head too. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what I think, right? That's what I think. It's the only way. This is my only defense, right?
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of them to every 15 to 25 claims.
Okay.
So if you don't get your stuff on time, it's messing up whatever it is that they're tracking. Then if you do get your stuff on time, they still got all these other people to serve because people travel
A lot.
Every day, B.
Okay.
People travel every day, B. So that's my only defense to them. I don't want the smoke because you got smoke for them. I don't want your smoke from them.
So my rebuttal to that is the fact that they only give you a certain amount of money on these government credit cards.
That ain't no rebuttal.
So if you give me $7,500 and I go on 2 trips, that $7,500 maybe go. I need you guys to get my money back on that card. So, cause I got trips. These trips be coming like this, bro. They rolling. Yeah. You know what I mean? So now
that cost should be unlimited, bro. That cost should be unlimited.
I agree with that. Now that's what
you for real.
You make that motherfucker unlimited you want to.
Yeah. Look, I said that we should get military discounts on a military base, and people was getting at me on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you guys just want so much. You know, you want 100% disability. Now you guys want military discounts. Yeah, motherfucker. I want a military discount. Something might be about to pop off soon, and we gonna be there. You know, while you gonna still be on YouTube talking that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? I was watching this show, right? Or Apple TV. It's called Invasion. And the aliens came down, right? And the dude, right? And this how disillusioned these dudes be, right? This dude said, well, if they fuck with us, we got the strongest military in the world. You know, he said, what about the galaxy? You know what I mean? Like, they was tearing our soldiers up, man. We ain't standing. Motherfuckers just getting ordered out there to go get killed. You know what I'm saying? Hey, go out there. Take this, you know, do the right flank, take this over there. They was getting killed. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Oh, man, that's funny as shit, man.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, yo.
What's your source of pride?
My source of pride, man, is it has to be my upbringing, man. Like, right, where I dig deep at, man. Like, we didn't have
much. That's related to the Navy, right?
Yeah. It's related to the Navy because of the fact that work ethic and not having much, and when you do have something, you take pride in what you do have, man. And I just think that when I got in the Navy, man, I seen how it was rolling, how it was going, man. I was like, these guys can't outwork me, man. I gotta outwork people. You know what I mean? And then from where I came from, it's like, it's a norm though. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have much. You fucking worked for a lot. You did a lot of stuff on your own. You know what I mean? To do whatever you want to do. You kind of did it solo. You ain't have a whole lot of people to help you and all this stuff. So I wasn't never, you know, when I grew up I was never like giving a lot. I was never having nobody there for me to do this for me and do that for me. So when I came in, it was easier for me, I felt like, because of the fact that my source of pride, my source of getting shit done was already there in me. Because I ain't never had nobody to tell me to go do this. I ain't even had nobody tell me to go to school my senior year. You know what I mean? But I went and I did that stuff. You know, so that's kind of where my pride come from, man.
Yeah. So you said you never had nobody to tell you to go to school your senior year.
Do you want to get in that conversation, bro? Like, okay. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. So, I sold this story. I don't think I ever sold it on here though, man. But I went to the high school, man, my senior year solo, bro. Like my grandma, my mom was in and out of prison. So my grandma was getting older. So her kids got her. My uncles got her and moved her away. So I was told, say, hey, you can come with us if you want, but it was my senior year. So I said, nah, I'm going to, stick around here, finish my senior year up. And I stuck around there, man. Yeah. And if I wanted to quit school, I could have quit school if I wanted to, and nobody would have said anything. Because my family was like quitting school. I had they weren't graduating. You know what I'm saying? My brothers, they was out of school 13, 14 years old, man, like 15. They weren't going to school no more. So it was like, you go or not go type deal. So, well, but I finished though, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up. I know you told me that before, but I don't think you said it in that much volume before on a buy. Like, I don't think you gave that much to it. I'm not sure, man, what my source. I know I have pride. I have pride, right? And I think we all should. I think we all should have pride, right? We should be proud of our work, proud of ourselves, proud of our sellers, proud of the people like the people that lead us and stuff too, right? That's what I think, right? And I'm not sure. I can't put a finger on my source of pride. I could put a finger on what motivates me. I could put a finger on what drives me. But I can't put a finger on my source of pride. It's a few things though. I want to be an example. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's more of a motivator. But I want to be an example. I care a lot about what my sellers see. I care a lot about what other sellers see as far as my performance and the way that I carry myself and just being able to protect the sellers and stuff like that. I want to be that. Another thing is this. At this point now, is if I'm talking about myself selfishly now, it's a legacy. It's a legacy play now. You know, it's a legacy. It's like, you know, like when we think about sports, you know, and I think about like LeBron. He did this in Cleveland. He did this in Miami. He did this in Cleveland. He did this in LA. You know, so I'm at this point now, and I'm speaking selfishly, purposely right now. I don't ever want to leave a command. Like, first of all, it used to be I never want to leave a command worse than I got there. I always want to leave it a little better than I got there.
Yeah.
But now I don't want to leave a command like not at the same stature that I left any of my other commands. You know what I mean? I feel like throughout the course of my career, like we left commands and was remembered for the works, right? No matter what, like made an impact here, impact on this person, impact here, impact, you know. So now I never want somebody to be like, oh no, well, when he was over here, he was trash. You know what I mean? Like, and I always think about that conversation that happens, right? That's my selfish reason again. And I believe in that too. I believe in people having selfish reasons and selfish drivers. All of the greats that we know, like, had selfish reasons and selfless reasons. So a lot of my selfless reasons now got to do with my sellers and stuff like that. But again, like I said, like you already know, I have an issue with people thinking that we shouldn't have our own selfish, you know, drivers and things like that too. You know what I mean? I have a family. I got people that's going, I got nephews. I got people that look up to me. They look up to me for a fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It used to be my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. It used to be that I never wanted my mom to come to a ship, my aunt or my uncle to come to a ship, my dad to come to a ship, and like they hear that I'm trash. You know what I mean? Like as if somebody would ever say that. Like, yo, your son trash. Like, he not good. Like, I don't think people would ever say that. But that's what it used to be. Like, I never wanted somebody to tell somebody in my family that have always known me for getting things done. Like, I was in a gifted program when I was coming up, right? I got skipped before and stuff like that, right? So I never wanted like that. Like, I always was performing in that, you know, manner. So why would I now come to the Navy and people would be like, yo, he, you know, he not good? Cause to them, that's like, he's not himself. You know what I mean? So whatever rank that I've been, I tried my best to just be the best that I could be, man. I've never been anywhere where I didn't try to be. And that's, again, like I said, y'all, that's me giving the selfish. I don't know why I feel like I got to keep explaining that, you know, but I just feel guilty sometimes when you talk. It happened at like one of my midterms when I was a younger seller, and they was like, what's your goals? You know, and I laid out my personal goals. Like, it's to do this, to do this, to do this. And they got my ass because my goals ain't had nothing to do with my sellers. They like, well, you a fucking first class. This one, I first made first. They was like, you a first class. Why the fuck don't your goals have to do with your sellers? And my response was like, I thought y'all were asking me for my personal goals because this is my midterm. And then I said, and I also said that I thought that, you know, because I felt bad because I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'm learning a lesson in the Navy or whatever. Because then I also said that I thought that it was implied how much I already cared about my sellers and the things that I wanted to do with my sellers. I thought y'all saw that every day. I didn't know y'all wanted me to put that on my midterm as well. So sometimes when I talk about myself, knowing the listener base and knowing all of that, sometimes I feel a little bit guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. I most definitely know what you mean, man. That's kind of like, you're right. It's your midterm though. So I can understand what you're saying, what you meant by it too, because I'm like that. I'm the same way. Taking care of sailors is what I do.
Yeah.
That's like I'm not even talking about that right now because that's what I do all the time. You know what I mean? But before we go any further with this, man, I also want to say, you know what? What I said earlier, man, I love my mom. You know what I mean? My family, we all know the struggle. My whole family knows this story. So it ain't like I'm saying nothing for the first time, or we don't talk about this all the time. But my mom done passed away now, so I want most definitely don't want to disrespect her no type of way, man. What she did and what she had to do to take care of us at that point in time, man, made all of us who we are today, man. So most definitely no disrespect there.
Yeah, and it ain't come across like that. You know what I mean? It ain't come. I shout out to my mom while we talking. She said sometimes she just listens to the podcast just so she could see me and hear me. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, man. Yeah. Shouts out moms.
Yeah. She like seeing you too, Damon, and hearing from you too, man. I think one day she might want to meet you one day, man.
She gonna meet me, man. She's gonna meet me. No doubt about that.
She probably be more excited when she see you than when she see me, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to be honest with you, man. Hey, so I would just, some of these topics we got, I'm going to run through them randomly instead of the way we got them written down. So here's one. Should SCED, OHMS, and RADM be a prerequisite to being a chief? When applicable. So some rates it don't matter for, right? So some rates, some rates it like maybe LN or like some certain rates it might not matter for, like some special warfare stuff. Even though I know sometimes they still do maintenance, but like you a DC man, I'm an EM. And for the listeners that's be on TikTok, we both engineers. So sometimes when we pick these rates, like the rates that nobody, want to do stuff with and stuff like, we don't pick our own rates. You know what I mean? Let me go on a tangent for a second. We don't pick our own rates because there are rates. So for instance, when we put the clip out about, like rates that don't, do not try rates that you don't try. People was like, well, EMs, you fuck with the EMs and they'll shut your ventilation and whatever off, right? We'd do that. And that's why I ain't picked the EMs for that. I'm an EM, but secondary, we do that. And the thing about our rate though, is it's so big of a rate, man. It's so much of a big deal rate, man. Like if we do that, that makes somebody's 8 o'clock reports. That gets up to the chief engineer, that get up to the CO, and eventually the EM's going to be strong armed into putting y'all shit back on, putting your ventilation back on, your lights or whatever like that. So that's the reason why I can't put EMs on the list, because there's nothing we can do. We can't just go turn off your breakers because that's illegal. It's against the instruction. You turn your fucking breaker right back on. So it's not much we could do outside of just tagging your stuff out and saying it's broken. We still trying to fix it and troubleshoot it. Right. Yeah. And then that make us look stupid. That make us look like we don't know what we doing as EMs because it's taking us weeks and weeks and weeks to troubleshoot and fix your ventilation. So it's harder for us to just get you back. Yeah. So that's my point when it comes to that.
Yeah. Same way with me with DC, man. Like, 8 o'clock is a big deal, man. The fire marshal put on 8 o'clock. At the end of the day, people going to get called out. And guess at the end of the day, who going to probably help you fix it? Whatever it is, it's going to be DC, but right. And the same thing, 90 days, you going to holler at me regardless, right? Time you get on the ship, 90 days, you holler at me. That DC qual is coming. I don't want you to be ding. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to holler at us regardless. You know what I mean? So, but like you said though, man, we didn't want to put our own rates in there and talk about our stuff. You know what I mean? Because I know how big DC is on the ship, and people need DC to move on with certain quals and certain everything they need to even start their Navy career off. So I know that, but
yeah, man, we don't got them under the radar rates, man. You know what I'm saying? We got the highly publicized rates, man. EM and DC, holla at us.
Holla at your peoples, man. We outside, man. We outside, man. We outside.
So back to my question. Should SCED, OHMS, and RADM be a prerequisite for being a chief when it's applicable? Meaning that when it's a part of your day-to-day job, when it's something you do.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Most definitely, man. No doubt, man. Like, man, we see it too, though, man. We see it all the time when we on the ship, on the knowledge of SCED, OHMS, and all that stuff, man. Like, I don't know how many times, man, like, because I work with I'm going to give you guys an example real quick, man. I work with HTs very closely. On small ships, I'm kind of the LCPO when it comes to, repair division.
Not big ships, though.
Not big ships. Not big ships.
Tenders. The HTs run your own.
Yeah. No, they don't run us. They run their own division. But they don't run us. Don't get it twisted. But But yeah, so I work with them and people want the HTs to come build something or make something or weld something or whatever the case may be, right? But they don't have no jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know how to write that job for the HTs to come help them out. Right. So then there's some training and all that stuff apply. So when it comes to, you said certain race don't apply, I think all of them need that freaking Ohms and G, man, because everybody may need some help. You know what I mean? Putting up your TV, mounting some, whatever the case may be. You want somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah.
But it's very important though, man, to do it like that, because now if you do things the right way, you don't have to ask for that favor. You know what I mean? Because that shit gonna show up on my report, and I'm gonna be like, okay, yep, I see it. Let me go talk to them to make sure this is what they want to do. This is blah, 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 right? And I can make that as a work list. I can use that so many different ways. You know what I mean? But if you don't do that, now it's like you asking for a favor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, senior, can I talk to you for a minute, man? Come check this out. No, man, make that job. We need some hours, man. And a lot of times that's what it's like, use them hours or whatever the case may be, man. So I agree with you, man. Then scared, if you're a 3M, you should be honest on this. You know how scared can get. You know what I mean? People don't know what the hell they doing. You know what I mean? It's scared. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. They need
because you go brand new to a ship and they got a force revision and you don't know what the hell you're doing on that force revision. Like what is it? You know what I mean? You don't know what you're looking at as scared. You don't know what questions to ask. Like what you doing, man? And then when the inspectors come on board and they watch you sweating while you try to open up a 2 kilo.
Yeah, man. Oh, and then you got a check sheet. Bro. You know what I'm saying, man? You got a check sheet. You go through that shit. They do this and do that. You like, oh shit.
And bro, it's the same check sheet. Like the inspectors literally come in with the same check sheet that we got access to 365 days a year, right? And people be failing this shit.
So let me. Oh man, I got a couple stories about this, right? So when I was a young chief, right, came on board, right, and saying like they said, you have to go in there and show me how to write this, show me how to do this, show me how to do that, right? Bro, right before they came on board, man, I was studying that thing like it was a test, bro. I was on there going through it. I didn't want the joke to get me, man. I was going through it, and I knew how to write jobs. You know what I mean? I knew how to do all this stuff. But it's certain things that I can go to by myself real quick, and I may skip this and skip that. I want to make sure I knew how to pull up everything they may have asked me, right?
Yeah.
Second thing happened to me, man, we talk about 3M. So I was a chief, bro. So we had this incident on the ship where, and some guys who listen to the pod gonna remember this, man. We had a thing on the ship where we got ATG came on board, and one of our HFF stations didn't have the pop test tag on it. So I get all mad and stuff. And I said, you know what? We pull in, I think I was Hawaii, I think. And I said, you know what? We doing all these AFFF stations. And I'm going to sign for them. I'm going to do them right there. And I'm signing for every one of them, right? We do them all. ATG 3M come on board and they select me for 2 spot checks, bro.
Damn.
DCC, bro. I got selected. Yep, I did the maintenance. Select me for 2 of them. I killed it though. But I never forget that. I never forget that the master chief that did it, man, was a DCCM, man. And he told me, he said, hey, I'm up here at ATG here, man. I want to make sure you knew your shit so you could take care of these sailors. That's what he told me, bro. And that's why he said that's why he selected me. I said, that's bullshit.
Yeah, man. Hit that trump card on you.
Yeah.
I got a headline. I ain't even gonna read nothing about the story. I would just read the headline, dog. Delta Force operator who got away with killing fellow soldier, likely killed by a man tied to cocaine trafficking, but feds are holding details. That's the headline, bro. Delta Force operator who got away with killing fellow soldier, likely killed by man tied to cocaine trafficking, but feds are holding details. What the hell is going on? We got going on. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another headline.
Yep.
Florida Navy, and we could talk about this one a little bit. Florida Navy chief drunkenly punches girlfriend 3 times at his own promotion dinner, officers say. So a U.S. Navy chief petty officer was arrested after allegedly punching his girlfriend 3 times at his own promotion dinner, according to Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. His name, I'm going to redact that. Was arrested and charged with domestic battery after the incident that unfolded shortly after midnight at the Doubletree Hotel on River Place Boulevard on Saturday. The 36-year-old was staying at the hotel for a celebratory dinner honoring his promotion to Chief Petty Officer in the U.S. Navy, according to the arrest affidavit. Officers arrived to the hotel shortly before 12:30 a.m. and made contact with him, who was seen with a blood spot on his neck. In his mugshot from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, a red mark is visible on his neck is red as hell. He was detained, placed in the back of a patrol car, and read his Miranda rights. He did not understand the rights due to the fact that he said he did not understand the rights due to the fact that he was extremely intoxicated. It's funny because Florida man, right? That's like a running joke anyway. But now this dude's a Navy chief. You know what I mean? So that kind of adds to everything. I don't want to get too deep into it. It just says that the deputy met the victim, which is his girlfriend. They arrived to the Doubletree around 5, shared a drink, and the two got into a verbal argument in a hotel room. And he allegedly punched her in the mouth 3 times. The report says she called for help, stuff like that. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sound like the khaki ball, right?
That's what
sound like the khaki ball. I mean, sound like it, but
we wasn't there, man.
Yeah, but we went there to protect them, right? But
yeah, Tubbs and Crockett, bro. Tubbs and Crockett wasn't there, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Christ, man.
But I would say this though, man, like for this Navy chief to hit this young lady 3 times in the mouth, as it says, man, he probably did it before. Right now, he done it in front of everybody, man. So it could be at the end of the day. I hope that she still is not in this relationship because, you know, sooner or later, motherfucker might kill you. Who knows, man? So now I guess it's the opportunity. He got in trouble. He ain't hiding behind nothing. So, in a way, hopefully this is a way for her out this relationship. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, to bring, I don't know what happened, right? I don't know the story. Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened. But whatever toxicity y'all got going on in y'all house, when you make that conscious decision and like show that shit in front of the people from your command, like all of that stuff, like
that's it.
Yeah. So
that's it. So,
you know, I ain't even going to say much else about that. It's a wrap after that.
Yeah,
you know
can't come back from it, bro. Yeah. Can't come back from it.
If only Tubbs and Crockett was there to say the thing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We'd have bust right in that room, man. We got right in that hotel.
Man. Let's go.
I wish we could tell y'all the story. I wish we could let y'all know like some of the stuff that, you know, go down, man. Just know, man. The Navy deck plates, man. We made them safer. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
We made them deck plates safer, bro. You know what I'm saying? We had somebody from ELD on our podcast, but we didn't talk about this part of it because I think it was just either freshly released or it wasn't released yet. But here's the quick, headline is beginning in calendar year 2025, ILDC and ALDC will be a prereq to take the advancement exam for E6 and E7. CPO LDC will be a prereq for advancement to E8, commencing with the fiscal year 26 selection board. And CPO LDC, as I know right now, people already getting classed up, ready to take it, right? So mandatory to make rank, mandatory to make E6, mandatory to make E7, and chief, you know what I mean? Mandatory to make E6, mandatory to make chief, and mandatory to make senior chief. Now you got to go to a leader development course, right? Part of the enlisted leader development program. My question to you is, barring whatever it is that you have to say, does it seem like we're getting it? Like the Navy is starting to get what we need?
Yes. I'm going to say yes to it, man, because this is most definitely going in the right direction, right? Because we need this leadership stuff, man. We have people who make rank early. We got experience plays a part in this, but at the same time, getting leadership training though, man, I think something that you can put in your toolbox to take to the deck plates. I think it's a good thing, man. Because I think other branches of the military does this, man, but to get it at this level it's great, right? Like we always talk about when we make Chief, we do this training and you got the SCA school, you get more leadership training, you get all this leadership training, but we never talk about, the blue shirts that much, when it comes to leadership. And when I first came in, we all, it was like, we always went to those petty officer,
like nav lead
and all that stuff. I went to that stuff, coming in. So I'm happy for this, man. Cause I go on a lot of ships, man, like damn near weekly, man. And I see, that we need this leadership out there on the deck place, man. Like no doubt, man. And it's anything you can take from it. Like everything you learn, you're not going to take everything, but you're going to take some of that stuff that's with you, that's going to benefit you, that's going to help you develop on however you want to lead. You know what I mean? However it is, as long as you can take something from it and take it to the fleet and take it to young sailors and learn from it. That's up and down the chain of command too. I know I say leadership and all that, but leadership is not just for your subordinates, right? It's up and down, you know what I mean, when it comes to leadership. So, I think we're going in the right direction when it comes to that stuff, man. What you think?
I think so too. I think we're gonna right. I just don't want it to be watered down, and I want people to like respect the programs and respect the training, especially the ELD. It's good training. ELD is good training. I haven't met anybody that came back from ELD and said it was bad. I just went to a training called Trust Edge that I did not like. I ain't like Trust Edge at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to just be straight. I'm going to be straight up. It was like 3 hours and they seemed like they rushed through it. You know what I mean? Like they broke us down. There's like, all right, break off into groups and think about the things that make you do whatever. You got 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck we going to do in 90 seconds broken off in a group, right? So Trust Edge wasn't for me. I get it. If you appreciate it and you liked it, it wasn't for me. But ELD was. I like ELD. I like what we did with Chip. The outward mindset training was good. It's a lot of good trainings. Just Trust Edge to me wasn't mine. The dude giving it in the videos, he looked like a car salesman, the way he was putting it out. It was just things I ain't like about it. Shout out to you though, man. You changing people's lives, man. Just didn't change mine. That's all. Man, maybe it's, what's up, Damon?
No, I often say some of the same thing when it comes to leadership. I personally don't like what they call it, the facilitator training, where they just put some on the board and say, you go. You know what I mean? I don't like that training, man. I'm here for training. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And maybe my disconnect with Trust Edge was because I have been to Outward Mindset. I have been to the ELD. I have been to SCA. I have been to so many of these other trainings, and I think we got it right with making these trainings mandatory, making sure that we get people in. I just don't want some of the seasoning and some of the sauce to go off of the trainings now that they are mandatory, or them to feel like a check in the box for different people.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I agree with that.
And that's from the facilitators all the way down to the people that's actually attending the training. Because if the facilitators look at it like it's a check in the box, it ain't going to be of any value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What do you think about who giving the training though? What do you think like
the facilitators?
You think it should be like what, E7 and above or what? And they're giving the training.
Yeah, but people that really care to give it. Not every E7 care. Bro.
Yeah, that's facts. That's true too, man. That's true.
Yeah, not everybody care, man. And we just got to start being honest about that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everybody going to get that training the way that it's supposed to be given. If somebody gave it good enough to make it like a standard training, that's better than trying to find more and more people that don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if John that we had on our podcast, if John and Rob, the people that I got training from, if they were to like make this a blanket training and then it got updated every now and then by somebody else who cared, that would be better than just keep finding more and more people that just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
That's how I feel about that kind of training. But I do think as an organization, we are getting it right by identifying the fact that we need leadership training and we need to train people how to be leaders, right? Because that's two different things. I'm tracking.
Yeah. You're speaking facts, bro. It's people out there that just don't, care that much about it. And maybe they just took the facilitator course and did all that stuff just to get a location. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they going to, shore duty just to get a spot, man? Do they really care about what they doing? And a lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't. So,
and some of that's on that, as far as that necessity for training and stuff like that. Some of that's on that War Room Chiefs Mess conversation that we're about to have. But before we do have that, a listener asked us, and we said we was going to get back to him. A listener asked us to talk about our experiences with the command, the C-cell packages, right? So I'm in the process of doing one right now. It's one that I already prepped for a long time, like a while ago now, but now, it's finally time for them to accept it. So I'll get into mine, but what was your experience? You said you did it twice?
I put in for it twice, man. I did not get selected. Now, I don't know. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't know the process after it leaves my hand because it has to go to, certain channels and go off to the thing. So I wasn't the one physically sent that off or whatever, but I do know I didn't get selected, of course, right? Mm-hmm. But I really wanted to be in the program. And I'm going to tell you what I got out of the program. I think I learned so much from the program because I know that I had a board, right? And they can ask me anything on this board, man. So I felt like there's a lot of programs on that PQS that you go through and you don't want to, and look, no one wants to fail. I think anyway. I know I don't want to fail at nothing, right? So I want to be prepared as much as possible when I go through this board. And I think that process of knowing, hey, you going to have this PQS signed off before you go to this board, right? You want to do something. You want to be a command. You want to do command. So guess what? You're going to learn from this. You're going to read. You're going to do everything you need to do, right? Before you have this board, right? You're going to talk to these CMCs. You're going to talk to these command seeing chiefs and learn as much as you can. And I think it helped me, man, as a leader, period, reading all this stuff. Now, you know how you get into a room, you get into a conversation and man, you're like, you lost, right? You talking about Semio program and you lost. Mm-hmm. You talking about Damo and you lost. I feel like going through all these programs, I'm not an expert at none of it really, right? But I feel like I can talk my way through a lot of it now because of all these programs I had to go through and read about and all these instructions and things like that, preparing me for these boards, man. So that was one of my big experience. I wish I had a little bit of, feedback, but I also know a lot of people put in for those programs. So when I didn't get picked up, I knew, hey, there's some motherfuckers out there, you know what I'm saying, that did get picked up that was good. I see the list. And I said, okay, these guys are, pretty good, man. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So I got a question for you before I get into mine. Yeah. Did you have a relationship with the CMCs that you sat on the board with?
One of them, because they was my CMC before or something. So the ones who got it together and all that stuff, but they kind of like, I tell you, the last one I did, man, you know who got it together for me? It was the Force, man. My Force, I called, like he put out one day, who's interested in the program, right? So I went to him. I said, yeah, I'm interested in the program. I told him I put it in before. Man, as soon as I told him this, he gets on the phone. He called these Master Chiefs over at LCS, and they got a lot of Master Chiefs over there. He called them up and said, hey, this guy over here, at the time, I didn't have a CMC, right? That was for us as CNSP at the time. He called him up. He said, hey, I got some CMCs over here. And I end up linking up with them, talk to them, get my stuff signed up. And on the LCS run over here, man, there's a lot of CMCs there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I went in there, man, I was going door to door, a couple times here, a couple times there, talking to these guys. So no, I didn't. And he didn't set the board. It was like when I did the last one, it wasn't nobody. I didn't know anybody when I went over there and did that. From a CMC standpoint, I didn't know any of them. But I made some relationships before I left though. You know what I mean? So it was good stuff, man. Yeah. All right,
I'll talk about mine a little bit. Before I do, commercial break, I guess we call it commercial break, but I do want to say this for a junior seller. We want you on a pod, like E4. I mean, like E4, E5, even maybe E6, but we've talked to some first classes before. Shout out to most of them because I think damn near all of them made chief, except for ones who probably their first time up or something. I think 2 of the first classes we talked on the pod didn't make chief yet. But we want a young E5, E4. We want to talk about some shit, like some real shit. We want to get y'all on. Let's kind of go back and forth on certain things. I want to have a really good conversation about some of the disconnect between, because we're about to talk about War Room Chiefs Mess stuff, but I want to talk about Junior Seller Chief Mess stuff too. So come on the pod, come holler at us. If you listen to us, we want you on. So, and I know somebody like, well, I've been talking to you in a DM. I get it. We try to figure out, we try to figure out the schedule, but we do. We need E5, E4 on. So if you do, we come on as soon as possible. I really want to have that conversation.
And maybe more than one too. So yeah.
Yeah. All the time, man. Like shit. We vet you, man. You could be a part of the podcast. Let's go. But, my command, senior enlisted leader package, I'm going to say everything you didn't say. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to try to talk about things you didn't talk about. So if you listen and you ask that question, take everything Damon said and understand that, take that. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the networking aspect of it. Mm. I think it was good. Like my situation is a little different than yours because I did it on shore duty. I did it coming off of leading the season. Like, so coming off of being a season lead at a region. Right. So a lot of the CMCs I knew from that, but also I did it as a senior chief at a regional command who, if my CMC wasn't around, I would get pegged to fill in for him. So it was other installations that was attached to the region. So I would have to have a relationship with these regional CMCs, with these installation CMCs anyway. So most of the CMCs in the region, I already had a relationship with, especially during some period of time, my CMC checked out and we were awaiting a new CMC. So in that time, I was acting as a regional CMC. So the CMCs knew me. So being that I ran the season in the region and I stepped in for the regional CMC for a certain period of time, it wasn't too many CMCs in the region that didn't at least read my name on an email. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I was the president of the mess. So at some point I was always going like have some kind of interaction with most of the CMCs in the area. You understand what I'm saying? Cause we had to do CMC briefs and stuff like that. And then I like went to training with some of them and stuff like that. So the networking part though, it opened my eyes cause then I got to have like one-on-ones and actually sit there and talk to them and learn. And the networking and the one-on-ones happen as I'm trying to get this PQS signed, right? Because it's the PQS. This PQS is good for 2 years. They normally update it after 2 years. So if you go get this PQS signed, you don't have to go get it signed. If you get the PQS signed and you don't pick up, you don't have to get it signed again the next year. You could just use that PQS and just go ahead and apply again, right? Then after that, you're supposed to go get the PQS signed. A lot of networking, a lot of talking, a lot of learning, a lot of building relationships, a lot of insight, right? That was really what I had. Now, most of these guys I already like knew a little bit. I did a service for them or I had a question for them and they helped me out. Especially with me already, my job and role at the command was the ADCO, the regional ADCO. So I knew them through that relationship as well too. So I had to interact and deal with them anyway. So I built up a good rapport there. The second part of this is the board process. So my board was different for your board as I knew everybody there. I knew the force. I knew all the CMCs that sat in the board and everything like that. Was I nervous before the board? Yes, because it's a big ass PQS. Every single program is on there and everything like that. Did I feel good after the board? Yes, I felt great when I left that board. And I did my board when I was on leave. I did my board right before I checked into I did like a day before I had to leave to go to my new command. So honestly, that was my only drawback. I had to shave a day early, like stuff like that. Like, it wasn't, what I, thought it was going to be as far as that. Cause I thought I was going to do the board before I left, but I did it. We scheduled it and I did it a day before I went to the new command. But hey, it's a good experience. Take everything Damon said as far as, going through everything and all of that. Every program is on that PQS, studying and everything like that. I don't have strong conversation about the PQS and the struggle and all of that. My more strong conversation is in the networking and finding out personal stories, personal journeys from CMCs and the way they feel about making decisions when it comes to the mess and things like that. A lot of that stuff is game. A lot of that stuff is sauce that I cannot give you. You got to go get it from the CMCs. Or if I do get selected and you come talk to me, I could give you some of that because it's based off my experience. But it ain't, in my opinion, it's not podcast fodder for us to be signing off the PQS for C-Cell, but it's definitely a good experience. Don't get overwhelmed by the PQS or nothing like that, and accept the fact that you need to go network. Go talk to as many CMCs as you can. Schedule the conversations with them. Get on their calendars, right? Even if you have relationships with these guys and women, get on their calendars. I wanted to make sure I got on a woman's calendar, for instance. I wanted to make sure I talked to a lady CMC. I went to this one event. It was like a breakfast. I just went to every like woman there and like, hey, I do not have a woman CMC signature on here. And then we talked about that. We talked about some of her thoughts about being a lady, being a CMC in a community where it's a whole lot of dudes, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of stuff like that. But even when you're getting ready for your board, I had made folders, you know, I prepped the binders, and my CMC kind of put me on. He was like, hey, get name cards. So I had the name card. I messed up forces though, right? Like, of course I messed forces up, right? His was messed up. But it was like, get name cards, the little triangle cards or whatever, get those, make binders, have everybody packaged in a binder. So y'all go, so, you know, call somebody when it come to decorum and it come to presentation. It seems like you're serious. A lot of this is a confidence. A lot of this stuff is a confidence conversation. It's a confidence call. It's like any other call when you get this high up in the game. You know, I don't know if it's bad to say it or not, but certain calls after you make chief is like, hey, am I confident that this person could do this? They don't have to have all the knowledge right now, but am I confident that they're mature enough to do the job? You know, like an EDO call after you got like other EDO calls in the past, they might not want you to be the subject matter expert in that time, but they want to know that you know who to call, you know what reference to use, and you know what to do. For me, CMC, it was the same thing. When I did my board, it wasn't a test of how much I knew about the DAPA program, you know, or a test of that. It was a confidence test of, yo, do you know what to do if this happens and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's, another one of my biggest things from that whole experience, man, was they're just like you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, they put their pants on like you do. They got stories. They got experience. They went through things similar to what you went through. And you hear all these stories like, man, it's crazy how you found out, man. They not sitting up there like they freaking, you know, Captain America or anything like the office. They just like you, man. When you start talking to them, you find it out real quick that some of the stuff that you done went through and some of the stuff you do is similar to what they went through in their Navy career also.
Yeah. So did you have like what you thought would be like your biggest issue if you did become a CMC? Like your biggest drawback? Did you have anything like that? Cause I got one straight off the nose.
No.
I was nervous about how I would communicate in public to the masses, you know, like reading awards or whatever like that and presenting. But fortunately for me, I was able to act as the CMC at the command for a little bit. So I got to see how that looks. And I was just still myself, you know, but sometimes you just wonder, like, is myself good enough for this? Like, you know, can I be me and do this? Cause if you know me, you know that I'm not like that crazy about like doing shit publicly. You know, I'll do it, you know, and do it great, but I'm not too crazy about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's anything. I remember we was like, you was the president of the mess and I was the VP. And I'm like, man, it's like, you gotta try to get these chiefs to stop talking so we could put some stuff out. And I'm not. And then you went down for a little bit. So I had to take over for president. I'm like, man, I gotta talk to these people that's not really listening, like all this stuff. But so that was like the biggest thing that I was like, man, am I going to be able to do an all hands call like right before deployment? And this.
No, you know what? I started thinking about something when you said the all hands call and getting up in front of people and all that stuff, man, like in front of the crew or whatever. And I remember we had a CMC, man. He gets done. And he was like, hey, at the end of everything's over, he get a 1-on-1, lava dogs on 3, whatever the case may be, right? Then we get another CMC. And he didn't seem as vocal as that, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what? When it got to the end, he got his ass up there. He did the whole lava dog thing, man. So it was like, you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to do what you got to do, man. And you're going to sound off. It's going to happen for you, man. So
Yeah, man. And the thing with me is I try to build the relationships one-on-one first, so that by the time I'm in front of the group, I feel like I know everybody anyway. So when I'm looking out, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person. You know, now when you're on CMC, you might get thrown on the spot like super early. You know, so. And I can't, I said, we talked for the listeners and or whoever asked that question. We have conversations with CMCs as well. So we might be getting one on here sometime. We supposed to have one on here soon anyway. So you know, we'll kind of have that conversation then.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, you know, let's get into this thing that we didn't push back a couple times.
Yeah, man.
This war room chief relationship. Did you read the article, man?
Yeah, I read the article, man. I read it up, man. So, just for the listeners, so we had this article that got put out, and that's, you guys know, the sailor. We had Command Master Chief Julio Hernandez put an article out about wardroom mess unity. So we kind of talked about it a little bit before, but we wanted to go a little bit more in depth in it. So we kind of like tabled it a little bit so we can get a little more in depth into the whole conversation about, you know, the unity when it comes to the mess in the wardroom. So, but yeah, man. So I'm gonna tell you, man. Like, to be honest with you, with my, I think when it comes to the mess and it comes to the wardroom, man, I think the relationship, we tolerate each other or whatever. And I say that to a extent to say that we don't have, and it's my experience, of course, let me say that for my experience. Like, we don't have a lot of functions together. You know what I mean? We don't have a lot of things like that. So we not really grinding like that. So your grind is kind of in your department and kind of in your little division, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how my little unity thing come together. I really didn't do a whole lot of thing outside of the department when it comes to unity and comes to wardroom and the mess. But I will say this, man. I read the article, and what I took away from it, he says something in this article about, like, we always being taught to train the devil.
Hey, Damon, I got a question for you. Can I get into this a little bit?
Okay, go ahead, man.
I don't think this is an overview. I think some of this we need to get into. So,
okay.
For the listeners who don't have the article in hand, I'm gonna try my best to skim through some of this, but mostly everything he said in here was like noteworthy. So it says, what's the relationship between your chief's mess and war room? Is there dysfunction or lack of trust? If so, how did you get there? I've seen some commands with great mess war room unity that work well together. I've also seen others that have no relationship and just want to get the job done and go home. I've seen that more than anything, the no relationship thing, Damon.
Yeah.
He says, what do the highly functioning, well-disciplined with low unplanned loss commands look like, you ask? Well, in a word, fun. What made them so good? Many things stood out, but what was apparent was the unity between the war room and the CPO mess. Unity between the two is not automatic. It requires work. But how do you get there? There are two parts when building that relationship, the before and the during. So then he says, one thing that has bothered me in recent years, the expectation, and this is what you was talking about, the expectations that chiefs are supposed to develop junior officers. And what bothers me most is that no one ever told me how to do it. During my season, I was asked, are you going to let the division officer run a division, or are you going to chief up? I, and probably you, were never actually given proper guidance on training junior officers, though. We were just told to do it. I didn't realize until later how significant that relationship was and how my influence could and would affect future commanding officers and flag officers. I went to a chief penning ceremony at a TICOM a few years back. Just before the ceremony started, the 3-star asked the 05s and 06s in attendance, who was the TICOM when you joined the Navy? Who was the CNO? Who was the Commodore? The responses were hit and miss, mostly miss. But then he asked, who was your chief? Every one of them remembered that first chief. It was then that I realized the impact chiefs have on junior officers. So I'm going to stop right there for a second.
So right there, man, what do you think about when he said that, man? You remember your first chief, man. Do they remember you because you had a great relationship, or do they remember you because you didn't let them fail? Right. And that goes back what he said in the beginning, like, hey, we just here to get the job done. Right. Mm-hmm. So they remember you because they coming into the military. They 22 years old, right? They trying to get to a certain point. They know they got to get, cause they've been, being told what they need to do also, right? Same thing we know the kind of quals they need to get in things like this. And at the end of the day, they got their pins, they got their OD, they made it to the next, rank or whatever the case may be. But what he getting at is, and what I feel like he's getting at is, man, it's always eyes on us, man, when it comes to the wardroom and it comes to the mess. That foundation of us getting together, doing things, letting people see us as we are, what I say, well-oiled machine. People see that, right? And it means a lot when it comes to leadership that people see that. They don't see us arguing all the time. They don't see us like distant. They don't see us doing this. But he also said in there, it takes time. It takes work, right? This ain't no shit that happens overnight, man. Even when you have a new Divo come in your division, you guys got to, talk, and get on the same page. And I remember telling one of my Divos before, man, like a couple of times we went out to quarters and we was talking over each other, right? And I kind of felt like that wasn't us being a great team when we go out there.
What you mean y'all was talking over each other?
Like saying the same shit. Like I'm putting out something, then, or he or she putting out something, and then I come back and I say the same thing a different way to make them understand. Like I'm thinking they don't understand what he trying to say. So I say something. But if we talk about that before time,
that's crazy,
right?
Bro.
If we talk about that before time on what we're going to put out and what we're going to talk about, then it's a done deal. Cause I can add to it then while we're talking about it. Okay, sir, you're going to put this, or ma'am, you're going to put this out and kind of talk about this. And then I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Then they say, well, yeah, talk about this a little bit. Then we're on the same page, right? We doing what we do.
I don't like that people do that. Like just to kind of, just the Paul's point right there, because that happens a lot between chiefs and officers too. Maybe sometime in the first class, but yeah, I don't like when people do that, man. Like
do what?
What you just said, people did. Like where you say the same thing somebody said because you think that what they said didn't land the way that it was supposed to land. Like yeah, and it's really just the way you talk. That's all it really is. It's just the way you talk. My mom, she listens to the podcast all the time. She was like, I ain't gonna say what she said because I don't want the listeners to know. You know what I'm saying? But my mom keys into like everything, and sometimes she give me critiques. So she was telling me something, and I'm like, "You're right," and I told her why I did it, and she knew, she understood everything about it. And I say all that to say that I wish that we didn't do that to each other. And we did do, like you said, we kind of talk about what we're going to talk about so that we don't talk over each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely, man. So my other thing is, how important is it, man? So can you elaborate on like how important you think the unity between the two is?
Between the Chiefs mess and the war room?
Yeah.
Without going over this long ass article?
No, you can go through the article.
No, I mean, I think it's big. So let me take it down to the microorganism that was my division, E division on the Peralta. I think when we got a clicking chief and officer, me and Mr. Davis, who was on the episode, the one about the war room. Shout out to Mr. Davis, Lethal Weapon, #1 division, Ditz, 2 times straight, broke our record, Lethal Weapon, EM1, Mac, Treasure. What up, y'all? EM1, Henry.
4 people.
Garcia. Everybody. Shout out to everybody. I don't want to, it's too many people today. There's too many people today, yo.
Mac?
Yeah, I said Mac. Mac is,
okay.
Mac, yeah, I talked to Mac. I still talk to Mac. Tillman. Shout out to Tillman. What up, man?
Tillman.
Yeah. So that division, right? But we really, really clicked that Lethal Weapon shit. When me and Mr. Davis got together and we found a way to make that happen with that small division that we had that had a whole lot of work. Small division, big work center. we made magic. You know what I'm saying? If I could, for lack of a better word, we made magic. Then we got Mr. Castaneda. We went through NSERV together. Same thing. We clicked instantly. You know what I'm saying? And we got Miss Tath, and I kind of left as Miss Tath was coming, and I wish I had more time with her, but it would have been, at that point, it would have been more the same because the culture was created. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I mean. So, so I believe that most likely her and the EMC that was there for a little bit. I just would love to believe that they both, clicked and it ran just as well.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do as two. So that was the microorganism. Now the two organizations, the Chiefs Mess and the War Room, we got to do that. Right now, what helped me do it was it's like forced humility, right? Because I had a first term Divo. So when I first got there, I had a second tour Divo who was my very first Divo as a chief was dope. Me and him, we worked together on MWR and did stuff like that. He just wasn't a part of E Division for that long. And then I had a couple other Divos who kind of passed through, who had already been on a ship, already had careers. One person was under investigation for some stuff like that, right? So then I finally get a first term Divo. The reason why I call it forced humility is because it's a time, and I think we talked about it on a podcast, but it's a time that he didn't know how to open the hatch. You know what I'm saying? It was a time. You know what I mean? So that's where we start in that. That's our starting point. So there's no egos involved. And then at the same time that happened, I was like on the hook for some shit that happened at the command. You know what I mean? So my whole division at that time was under investigation for something. And then I had a brand new fucking Divo. So that's on both of our sides. And, before the investigation, I was hitting on like all cylinders. Like I came in high. I did everything I was supposed to do as a chief. And I was, doing what I was supposed to do. But now I get smacked in the face by all of this shit that happens, with the division. So I'm at a low point as far as my reputation and like what I need to do. And now I got this Divo who's not really at a low point, but he brand new to the Navy. So I can't even be on a high horse with him because he knows he's coming into a division where like the chief just got kind of slapped on the face about some shit that happened with his division. And he brand new, right? So where we were kind of put on an even plane was that. Like me being exposed in that sense to like I remember like we talked about it before. We went up to talk to like the XO about something, and the XO and the Ching was in there talking about like me, and like even though they like had mad respect, we how we left the command and stuff like that. But it was a point. It was like a period in time where like fuck ups was, were happening. You know what I mean? And all roads lead to me. So I can't even blame him. It was a conversation like, hey, I like EMC, but what the fuck? And then, so that was, what the conversation. So he heard that. That was like his second week on board. You know what I mean? But in his first 2 weeks on board, he looking at me like, damn, this dude's helping me out. This dude's sharp. He's showing me this. He's showing me that. He's showing me that. Then we get up somewhere and it's like, damn, but this what they're thinking. So that kind of humbled me there, right? So his forced humility, the reason why I'm saying all of that, because it takes both parties to be humble.
Yeah.
Right. So it takes the Chiefs Mess to be humble and not fall on everything that we have. And then it takes the organization of the War Room to be humble and not fall on everything that they have. In our case, it just happened to be forced humility. We both didn't have a leg to stand on in that moment in time.
Yeah.
So I believe that's how we started. Right. And then, like I said, you build a culture. So after it gets good, then you get the Miss Taff and the new EMC version of this, where you like 8 years down the line and your Chiefs Mess and your War Room still have that connection because y'all forced humility at one point, or y'all actually became humble at one point, came together and made some shit happen. It's too many expectations right now, in my opinion, when it comes to the relationships between the Chiefs Mess. Yeah, we could go play golf together. I ain't talking about all that shit, but I'm talking about coming together, putting something on and doing something. It's always these expectations. I remember sitting in chief meetings and being like, and the topic of the War Room come up. And I remember how that, response to be nothing bad against the War Room, but the response is usually like, what do we actually expect from the war room as far as this event. If we were planning like an event and I'm going something as small as fun events, I remember MWR. All right, well, we could get the Chiefs, but can we get the war room? Or we could get the war room, but can we get the Chiefs? And some of that got to do with some of the fun shit. Some of that got to do with the fact that officers got to pay for their food, shit like that, stuff like that. But outside of the fun shit, Damon, and I hope I'm not like going off track, but outside of the fun shit, we have to come together. We got to build a rapport, but we got to be humble first.
Yeah.
We can't come to the table. My bad. We can't come to the table with all our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you 100%, man. You said something earlier about like, what can we get? Like, is a wardroom going to help? Is a wardroom going to do this right? I wonder if that goes both ways. I wonder, do they think of events and think of things to do and be like, hey, you know what I mean? You think the chief mess will like this? I mean, you think the chief mess will get on board with this? And we talking about fun things right there, but it could be anything though. You know what I mean? I just wonder sometimes, and we'll get an officer on here and ask those questions. Because I know we do that a lot. You was right on board, man. You think the officers will try to, I mean, we was doing, Sailor 360 and we was thinking about how we can get the officers involved and we made up this whole thing and had officers and had the chiefs and had the LPOs and we had all this stuff because we wanted, everybody to be involved in this, and not just, the chief mess running this whole show. So, but I do think it means a lot, the unity of it. Like he said in the article. And I give you guys one example that I had, man. I know Damo was giving some examples. I had an example where, I had an officer that wasn't like liked in the mess or loved in the mess. And he was getting a little pushback with his quals. Mm-hmm. Right. And I had to freaking, say something about it. Right. To make sure. And I remember talking to the department head and, eventually, department head, the XO found out about it. Not to me, but the XO found out about it. And the issue ended up getting corrected. Because he was coming down on his quals because people weren't helping him out. Yeah. And I remember him coming talk to me about it and say, hey, it helped out and people doing this for me and people like blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I mean, it wasn't me. I just forced it. You know what I mean? I forced this because, at the end of the day, you got to get to a certain place in your career, so I want to help as much as I can. But when he told me that, man, it was a big thing for me because I didn't told this story a couple of times, man, because he was like, I'm telling this story, like people may not think it's a big deal, but when he was telling me the story, it was a huge deal for him that I went talk to somebody on his behalf to say, hey, we need to help, this sailor out. Cause I think sometimes we forget as chiefs that officers are sailors too. You know what I mean? I think we forget when the mentoring and the training and all this stuff. I think we forget because they senior and stuff like that. We forget they are sailors too, man. So that was a big deal for me when he came one-on-one and talked to me about that, man.
Yeah, man. I think officers expect us to be able to get it done, right? And I say that in a simple, manner, but I think they know that when they tap us in. Well, their expectation is when they tap us in to do something that we get it done. I think a lot of the disconnect comes when officers tap chiefs in and we don't get the shit done. Or when, anything, they finally lean over and ask us, they looked in the tech manuals, they did this, and they finally lean over and ask us the one question and we have no fucking idea. And we give them the stone face. And we don't even say that we're going to take the time out to, hey, sir, let me look in the manual. Here goes Siri again, thinking I'm talking to her.
Check it out.
Thanks. Like, hey, sir, I don't know this, but let me open up this book. Let me look at it. Let me kind of do my stuff. You go ahead, take care of something else. I'm going to go figure this out. I'll come back, hit you with the answer. Some stuff like that. Like, I think sometimes they look at us like we don't have the endurance when it comes to like the technical acumen and things like that to like go the fucking distance. You know what I mean? And we done made all this rank, but like you could break apart like what we know in a matter of seconds. You know what I mean? Because a lot of what they do is based off of what they learn, you know, how they study, what they read, shit like that. A lot of young, like, and let me talk about my experience. In my experience, a lot of what we've learned and a lot of what I've learned came from experience.
Yeah.
You know, it just came from experience. You know, so it's a lot of weight to, I see it now in my day to day. It's a lot of weight to when I say, I've never done this as an electrician, you know, whether we know it or not. It's like, hey, that's listened to. I've never done this. Let me look into it to see what the fuck is going on. But from what I know, I never did this. In 16 years of being an electrician, I never did this. They listen.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn, senior probably know what he's talking about because he's been around for X amount of time. You know, now when we don't even have that leg to stand on, or if we're not even offering that information, or if we trying to compete with the officer and whatever it is that their role is, then what the fuck? You know, did we distinguish clear roles? Or are we trying to do the same fucking job?
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
That's where shit gets really muddy. When officers and chiefs trying to do each other's job.
Yep.
Do we even know the role of the officer?
Yeah.
Like, I know we got the EDORM that kind of tells us, you know, this type of stuff. It's other things too. I don't want to get into all the acronyms, and I know some of them, but like it's other things that tell us, you know, other stuff. But did we look at that shit? That's the first thing I did with my Divo. On my first tour Divo on my first ship as a chief. I took him to his roles and everything we did. Right. And that sounds like some fairy tale funny shit, but that's exactly what we did. If it was 3M, I went to the roles and responsibilities. EDORM, roles and responsibility. Any program we did, I showed him his actual role and responsibility in that program.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, bro, you killing it. I didn't go that depth as you went with the EDORM thing and showing roles and responsibility, but we had that sit down. You have to have the sit down and the talk about what you doing, because the training going to come in play for like the 3M. You talked about the 3M. You talked about stuff like that. That's going to come, you know, within time of you doing it together and stuff like that. But the sit down, man, the talk, man, because you're right. That you can come into play. You can find out real quick, like, hey, you make a decision, then the Divo don't know. And then the Divo get asked by the department head, and then he don't know what's going on. So now you got him looking like crazy. Then the vice versa, right? Department head, the Divo just told the division something, then the department head come tell you about it, and you looking like crazy. So you have to have the talk to make sure you guys on the same page. I'm telling you, man, you wanna get some people to turn their back on you real quick. To let the Divo and the chief don't be on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be a problem right there real quick, man.
Yeah, and I also don't believe in calling people trash that I did not try to positively influence. You know what I mean? So some people do that too, man. My Divo fucking sucks. Like, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
What have you been doing to help develop? What have you been doing?
But see, that's the thing. Like when you say that, man, my whole thing, and I argue with people. I'd be mad if somebody be calling my Divo trash, because I feel like we the team, bro. We try to beat everybody. That's my competitiveness.
Yeah, ain't nobody.
When my Divo could get with me, man, like we together, like, bro, we together. Like I remember when, I'm gonna tell you this story one time, man. Me and my Divo, man, like we went up to the XO. You know, when you go talk to the XO, man, XO don't want to hear from me at all. He don't want me to talk about nothing. He didn't want me to say anything. So he on the Divo. So I didn't prep the Divo. You know what I mean? For what we talk about. When we get in there, that's not even what we talking about though. He talking about something him and the Divo did one-on-one, and the Divo didn't do. You know what I mean? Now I'm looking like, oh crap, what's the hell going on? Right. So he told the Divo something. Divo looking like crap. I said, and then that was it was perfect for me though, because I'm like, here go a lesson we finna learn right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let me help you. You know what I mean? If XO come tell you to do something, that don't necessarily mean you got to go do that one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come talk to me. Maybe I didn't see this before. Maybe I could help you, better, whatever, quicker, whatever the case may be. But that's all in the process, man. It's just a process, man.
The article also said, do we know the career path of like second tour division officers? Like, do we as chiefs even know their career paths? And
I'm going to tell you right now, I do not know their career path. Right. But I will tell you this. I have had second year, third, whoever, they will tell me what they need to do though. Yeah, I need to get this done. See, I need to get that done. I get this done in conversation though. Now I'll be lying if I sit here and tell you, I looked through this and I know exactly what they need to be doing, blah, blah. Normally that sit down, some of that stuff comes out. You know what I mean? It comes out and say, I need to do this thing. I need to make sure I get this done, that done. And then we talk about it like that.
Yeah. Like they were doing some like training, like during like the season. And it was like about like a Devo who wanted to give a completely different eval to somebody than the chief wanted to give. Like I think the Devo wanted to give somebody an EP and the chief wanted to give him a P. And they was pretty much asking the selects, like, what would you do if your Devo was like, fuck that, I'm giving and in my head, I'm like, this don't feel, in my head, based off my experience, I'm like, this don't feel that realistic to me. I ain't never been through nothing like this. Right. So that was my experience. Mm-hmm. And then it was people in the room like, nah, shit like this happens. Things like this happens. I'm like, and I mean, like in my head, I'm like, damn, how far away from you did your Devo get for this kind of, shit to happen? Or like, did you relieve like a chief who had a bad relationship with the Devo and that's how the Devo was acting and you had to get it? Like, I think it's a much bigger lesson than the lesson that we were trying to give it's a much longer lesson than that small lesson that we were trying to give during the chief training. Cause if it did happen like that and you stepped into a division that was going like that, what did you do? Can we train on that? Or if your Devo just went off the rails, what did you do to reel your Devo back in? Can we train on that? Instead of just asking this person like, hey, your Devo said, fuck it. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Ain't that hard to like envision though? Like it's hard for you to like to think about that, man. Like something happening like that. Like,
yo, bro, they made him reenact it and everything. I'm your Devo,
man. I know I go. I'm your
Devo. Yo, tell me that the eval need to change. Hey, the eval need to change, Devo. Fuck you, chief. Fuck you. I ain't doing that shit. I'm the Devo. I rank higher than you. Your Devo, somebody else. Your Devo saying fuck you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, man. Get crazy, bro. Get crazy. You be like, I'm going to talk to the CMC. I'm going to talk to the,
I'm going to put the Devo at attention. That's an old callback. I'm in my head like, yo, I've never seen a situation go down.
Nothing
like
that bad anyway, man. Like that's no type of relationship. If the Devo saying F you, this was going to happen in the division. That's kind of like you guys ain't no type of team, no type of unity, no type of anything. Somebody need to be removed.
So
you know what I'm
he
saying?
Talked about, yeah. He talked about a lot of stuff, right? He talked about things that he think worked. One of the ideas, I want to get into one of the ideas was like dining out, like the fun off work. Another idea though, this is what he said. He said, in yet another unit, when a junior officer reported to the command, they worked with the chief's mess for 2 weeks. That was part of their check-in. They went to CPO meetings, and if there was a disciplinary review board, they set in. They went to chief trainings, and it was during the season. They participate, and if it was during the season, they participated. Sounds crazy, right? I asked the CEO why they did this, and the response was, "Isn't it obvious?" I thought it was. He said, "I thought I was an out of the box thinker." What a way to be transparent and build trust with the CPO mess, right? So the officers worked with the chiefs they worked pretty much as chiefs for 2 weeks.
Bro, I read that same thing, man. I put that like, you never know where your career gonna go, man. So I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I put that in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I added it to my notes, man. I thought that was like a good ass idea, man. Like something that you could at least bring up. It's nothing like knowing what somebody else do to understand what they doing. It's nothing like that, bro.
I think it should go both ways.
Ooh.
I think go both ways. Let Chiefs work, let Chiefs work with the officer. Honestly, don't think that's needed if you have a really good relationship with your officers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if y'all talking and, hey, you know, what kind of shit y'all be talking about?
I think it's a good idea for your first year, just checked on board, you know, instance. I think it's a great idea when it comes to that. Everybody else kind of know when you get to the chief mess, you kind of know you should kind of like know your role, know what you do. When you in the mess, when you become a second, third tour or whatever, you kind of know what's expected. You should know what's expected out of you also, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you just fresh out of school, your first command, you kind of don't really understand. So I think that's where it becomes a great idea for your first 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I think we should do more officer training during the season. Like I think we do it like once, maybe even integrate with the ward room for a training or something like that during the season.
Yeah. And we always talk about that too, man. Like we always talk about it before the season starts. We be like, hey, somebody gonna bring it up. Like somebody gonna bring up, hey, are we gonna have any officers come training? We like, hey, it's a good idea, but nobody really act on it though. You know what I mean? Nobody really want to act on it, but I do. Every time somebody bring it up, I do think it's a great idea. You know what I mean? But it just really never happens though. That much anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we did before though, we graded it. I still got it. I still have it as unit organizations as a 5. I had some good relationships with officers. I think my relationship's been top notch. Multiple officers, whether they were in my division or not, I think my relationships have been top notch. I think some of that is a part of just personal stuff. Just who we are as people and stuff like that. But I think we could definitely build. And if the war room and the Chiefs mess as entities came together, I think that would make for stronger commands. Yeah.
No doubt, man. No. I'm the same way, man. I got it up there. I had a great relationship with officers too, man. No doubt. I tell you, man, I had some relationships, man, that no shit, man, that's like probably better than I had when I was in the fucking mess sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Some of the relationships that we had, my divos and on the deck place with me. You know what I mean? And I think that's another thing too. Everybody say, oh, you do admin, you go over here, you just do this. I want you to know the sailors, man. I want you to know these things, man, about them and what they doing every day so you can see it. You know what I mean? So when you become that captain and you kind of can relate a little bit more to what's going on if you own the deck plates, you know what I mean? Doing it. So, I was, very lucky to have a lot of those divos that want to be down there. They wanted to learn something. They just got in the Navy. They want to learn. And, I was ready for that. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah. So,
but back to, then on this article too, man, we got to give a shot. It's Master Chief Julio Hernandez, man. Great article, man. Great article. Great read, man. On the whole article. So I want to make sure I say that.
Yeah, man. Hey, and stop violating safety instructions to go viral. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cool. You know, we put it out our last episode. I just want to put it out again. We have fun with the topic, but it's a serious fucking topic. like stop violating safety instructions trying to go viral.
And let me add to that a little bit, man. And some people gonna think differently about it, like, oh, this and what. Every safety that is put out, every instruction, every whatever that's put out, man, is put out for a reason. That's why we bringing this up, man. That's why we talking about safety. It's put out for a reason. Somebody, either some equipment that got broken that's probably worth millions of dollars, or somebody that got hurt, somebody that died. That's why we doing this. So when you guys sitting back in your little room and say, oh, why they talking about that? Who gives a fuck about that? Who cares about that? Because somebody may have died or some equipment may have been broken or whatever the case may be. So think about that for a second too.
Yeah. Preach.
I mean,
preach, man. That's it, man. That's all we got. I got a book review, The Dichotomy of Leadership. You read this book too, right, Damon?
Yeah. I read it, man.
How long did it take you the whole deployment to get through this one?
Shit, damn.
8 months. That shit was 6 months on this, Jay.
But I was actually reading the book, though. It was different. I was falling asleep.
6 months, baby.
But it was a good book, though.
Yeah, this audio book. You still in a book club? Hey, y'all, see what I'm saying?
Why Damo be calling me out? Y'all see
I
this,
didn't even call you out. I didn't call you out.
Yes,
No, I didn't. I literally asked you if you were still in the book club. I didn't know that you wasn't. No, I didn't. I actually didn't. Like,
You did.
No,
You did, but you
I
did. You did.
I honestly did. I got a couple other people that I know that I need to ask if they still in the book club. Like, all right, you still in the club?
I thought, hey, we had our guy, man. What's our guy name on here? Aaron. I thought Aaron gonna ask me on here, but I said, oh shit, I hope Aaron don't ask me about this book.
Aaron gonna hit you up now. He gonna hit you up now for sure.
I love you, Aaron.
Yeah, I only say that because this book we reading now, I've had to listen to chapters twice. That's how hard this accent is for me to get. But dichotomy of leadership. So in the beginning of this book, right, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, right? For those of you that don't know. In the beginning of this book, they just had to remind me like 200 times that everything they wrote in the first book, Extreme Ownership, was like overboard. Like they said too much. And they took back like everything they said in Extreme Ownership, which was funny as fuck to me because I had been living my life based off Extreme Ownership. So I'm like, damn, y'all really got me here, man. Now I gotta change shit. You know what I mean?
Man, I remember that too.
Hey, it was a good book. It was a good book. After it got past all the apologetic shit for Extreme Ownership, it got really good. A lot of stories stood out. One that had to do with patches stood out. One that had to do with something going on at quarters. Oh, this is a text from Teach telling us she's not going to make it, even though we already told her that we was going to be done before she could make it anyway. So Teach ain't going to make it to power with us. But it's a good book. I read it so long ago now at this point that I don't remember much of it, but definitely read it. Jocko seems like he was a good leader.
Yeah.
You know, I don't follow him with the podcast or the energy drink or every other endeavor that he has going on, but he seems like he was a good leader when he was in the Navy. Some of the decisions that he made, some of the times he chose not to make certain decisions, some of the times he chose not to take certain actions, just all make it seem like he was a good dude. It seemed like he was fair. It seemed like he was stern when he needed to be. It seemed like he was understanding. It seemed like he was logical. And it seemed like he knew his people, you know?
Yeah.
I respect that a lot. So definitely read The Dichotomy of Leadership. I actually enjoyed the book more when they talked about the real world business scenarios than when they talked about the SEAL shit. Like I actually enjoyed more.
What they was trying to do is tie it in together, right? Tie both of them in together.
Yeah, the tie-ins.
Tie-ins, yeah.
That's your shit. Tie-ins.
Tie-ins.
Remember that book? Yeah, tie-ins.
Yeah, I remember that.
But so I appreciated it more when they talked about the civilian shit. You know, it kind of some of those stories stuck more. But yeah definitely good book. Dichotomy of Leadership. Damon read it long time ago. I just read it for the first time. Good shit. I give it like a 4, like a low 4 out of 5. Low 4.
Low 4.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll let your boy, man. Mississippi. Stand up. Rafael Peralta. You already know what it is.
PTSF.